I'm Somber Wilson, and I just wanted to come and give a little testimony of who I am and my experiences with Sighted Moon, so that you can get to know me. I have been in Torah for 17 years. And before that, I was a Christian for 11 years. We came to Torah through a community. We were part of a congregation, and we were looking for fellowship. I wanted to find that Acts chapter 2 church. I wanted to find relationships with people, which I really wasn't getting in my Sunday church. And I had heard about this church where they were teaching Christianity from the Hebrew roots. And so after the birth of my daughter, I convinced my husband that we needed to go. Anyhow, we were there about 4 weeks and really started to understand that the Torah walk was exactly what God wanted from us. And so we completely left the Sunday church and completely started keeping Sabbath. And so that was 17 years ago. And as my journey went, I heard from many different teachers along the way, but one thing I really got involved in was listening to Hebrew Nation Radio. And on Hebrew Nation Radio, I was exposed to lots of different teachers. Michael Rood was one of them. Nehemiah Gordon was another. Keith Johnson, Rico Cortez. We actually had Rico Cortez and Brad Scott and Bill Cloud and Rabbi Messer and First Fruits of Zion come to the congregation that we were in. So I actually met these people in person. But, I was hungry for the word, so I was always listening to Hebrew Nation Radio. And along that journey, I started hearing this guy, Joseph Dumont. And he was teaching this stuff, and he was having conversations, and I didn't really understand what was going on. But one thing that really irritated me was this guy kept calling me stupid because I wasn't believing or doing what he was saying. And I just got so frustrated with him. Anyhow, we left that congregation about 12 years ago and started just fellowshipping at home. Just ourselves at first, then, we'd have different people come and join us over time. One of those people is a fellow named Kurt. And shortly after Kurt came here to fellowship with us, he went to a conference in Ontario and he met with Joseph Dumont. And he brought back some information, about the conference. I think they were talking about with Eric Bissell. Anyhow, come back, but he became part of Joe's newsletter. And so as the time went, eventually Kurt brought us to the understanding of the Shemitah, the sabbatical year, and that we should prepare for it. And so I did my best to prepare for it and put away a lot of dried fruits and vegetables and that sort of thing. And I think we got 8 weeks in and I realized I was failing miserably because every time I was going off to the city, I was buying food in the city to feed us. And so that didn't go so well. It's part of a learning curve though. And so, just around a couple of years ago, we started looking at the calendar and when the year began. We were already Sighted Moon people. By the time we left our congregation, we had been Hallel 2 calendar people, and when we left there and became walking independently, we became Sighted Moon people. But then there was often controversy over whether or not the barley was ripe or not, and I was often not sure about which, to go with the early calendar or the late calendar or whatever. But eventually we got to the point where through Joe's newsletter, through Kurt, through my husband Stuart, through all of us working through to understand what the meaning of Abib was, we basically got to the point where we were really understanding Abib and recognizing that we had been starting the calendar too late. We'd been starting the years too late. And so about 4 years ago, we were starting with the earlier calendar, and then COVID-19 hit, and Joseph started having these Shabbat Zoom meetings, and Kurt stopped coming. because we were doing these Shabbats. He was doing these Shabbat Zoom meetings. He wanted to participate in the Zoom meetings. So we decided that we too would participate in the Zoom meetings. And we got on and we started listening. And I think that was around, Joseph taught about the prophecies of Abraham late March that year. And then Dale Miller taught about the name Yehovah, and that was April 4th. And around May, Joseph started talking about the Philippines and why the Philippines and why we were going to or why he wanted to go to the Philippines. And he was trying to get us to understand that we needed to go to the Philippines. And shortly after that, he introduced us to the opportunity of people actually going with him. And so we got involved in that. And slowly that evolved into creating a corporation to support the work that was going on. And that became Acubene. And so my husband became involved in that business side of things, the business side of the ministry things, where we would help people. And meanwhile, I got involved in teaching. Joe offered us the opportunity to teach, and I boldly stepped out and said, I have something to say. And so I taught once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And now I'm a regular. I do the prayer service in the morning on Shabbat mornings, and I'm teaching people to pray. I'm teaching them the Hebrew liturgy, and that's been really wonderful for me. I'm really enjoying that, and I've also become involved in collecting the prayer requests and disseminating the prayer requests amongst the brethren, so that we're really building a community of people together. Not just a Zoom meeting, but really getting to know one another and really supporting each other. And so I'm also doing prayer services twice a week, where again we're doing the liturgy, but we're really coming together as a prayer support unit for the community. And so that's my goal here today, is to let you know that I'm going to be I'm going to be working as a moderator here on Joe's page, and I'm going to help build the community here. I want to help us get to know one another, get to understand Joseph's teachings, and really get to know each other. I'm going to work on asking some prodding questions and see if we can get some people involved in communicating with each other. And I'm also going to do that moderating thing, which is helping people resolve conflict whenever there is any, helping people get to accept one another and not expect us to be clones of each other, and accept the fact that some of us are at an earlier stage in our walk, and so we're just learning, and some people are at a more mature stage or a more developed stage, and so we know more. But it's not about lording it over anybody else. It's just about sharing information and sharing so that everybody can learn and walk and grow together. Anyhow, I just wanted to let you know who I was and what I'm here for, and hope to meet you all. Shalom.